Hello, hey, how y'all doing? Welcome to my channel. I'm Mocha Moizelle, and today we are going to talk about how to not move abroad with colonizer tendencies. This is a two-way street video, so my folks across the waters, don't think you exempt, okay? Happy Black History Month. If you're here, show me some love. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. Let me get a little something, okay? Or let me know how you're doing in the comments. So, yeah. It's been a whirlwind of events happening. But with that being said, a lot more people are interested in moving abroad. Rightfully so. If moving abroad ain't your thing, if your ancestors built that country, this video ain't for you. Okay? If you think moving abroad is fleeing, this video ain't for you. And that's okay. That's fine. Ain't no sense you pitter pattering in the comment section. All right. So, yeah, lots of things have transpired. A lot of issues with immigration. This is just some things to consider if you are foreseeing that to be a option for you, or seeing moving abroad to be an a option for you. Moving abroad is a dream for many, but if you're not careful, you may be bringing some of that baggage with you that you didn't even know you packed. Okay. Let's talk about colonizer tendencies, okay, and how we have been miseducated about the world, why it's important to decolonize ourselves, our minds, and the way we think before we go trying to integrate into other societies, okay? And again, this is for all of y'all. If you come into America, if you're trying to leave, because that colonizer stuff, like I said, has been implemented across the world. A lot of people have adapted certain mindsets, and particularly about the skin folk. So, yeah. All right. So, like, first thing, let's get into the miseducation of our worldview. Okay. So, European colonialism has shaped global narratives about power, about civilization, about development, about people's cultures, people's societies, all those things, right? It has been shaped by colonialism. Okay, a lot of what you think of the world has been influenced by that. Okay. Oh, I'm channeling Donna Summers for Black History Month, so toot toot. Okay. Um, a lot of our schools teach uh, Eurocentric versions of history, okay, where Europe is a standard, America is the standard for progress, for governance, for economics. The idea that the West is advanced and other regions are developing is rooted in colonial propaganda. Um, I rarely can post or make a video about Jamaica without somebody, or I can hardly see a video about Jamaica without somebody talking about or having the impression that I done lost my mind for moving to Jamaica. Jamaica is a third world country and all this other stuff, and that I can hardly, somebody gonna dismiss exactly what I said at the beginning of the video and get in here talking about how America is the greatest country in the world. Like, I'm already anticipating, unfortunately. Okay, we have, a lot of us have been ingrained with colonial propaganda, and people have this inherent belief about their own country. A lot of people out here where I decided to move to think America is paved with milk and honey. This is the machine that America is. Okay, so examples of misinformation. I tried to get some related to me, but this Africa is a big one. Okay, it's portrayed as monolithic, it's full of poverty, it's full of tribalism. When in reality it had empires. And again, these are not to romanticize these countries or make any place seem or appear to be like a utopia. Okay, but for America to go around tooting its horn, like, you can chill for a little bit, okay? Just slightly. All right. Um, and to portray it as it didn't have like technological innovations before European interventions, right? Like that's a very colonial minded influence. All right. Puerto Rico, Jamaica, how these islands and other places in the world are spoken about in terms of only tourism, but not places that have their own histories and contributions to society and their own struggles. A lot of people view these places through that lens. And even if you watch that Bad Bunny short film, maybe I can link it. Well, he's, basically talking about like how Puerto Rico is basically being, colonized again. Well, already colonized, but how like even like they're just getting like pushed out where it's like even the culture is just like starting to like dissipate. Did I say that right? It don't matter if I didn't. You know what I meant. But lots of things to consider before you go into others countries and societies and not take these things into consideration. All right, the notion that English is the superior language, is the learning language, rather than it being like an extra something, or rather than a sign of respect. I'm from the South. I have a Southern dialect. I don't feel I don't feel like turning off my dialect sometimes. Why are you not illiterate in Southern dialect? Why you got a problem with the way that I talk? I face that as a black person born and growed in America, right? It's like this speak proper English stuff, and I'm at the point like it's like sometimes I just want to go full blown country and not care. I don't know. Go learn how to talk country. But these are some things again that have influenced our worldview or influenced our ideologies about people. Right when folks are coming across that water, some of our peoples, we have these interactions with that ain't so pleasant because they too have adapted mentalities about mostly black folks in the country that are negative, in the U.S. that are negative, and that again is from a colonial mind frame, right? And it's like I don't get into the diaspora wars because I know that both of those sides have been influenced by these things. But even with that, it's still time for us to just like we need to start just being more self aware about where these influences are coming from. Okay, how the colonizer mentality shows up when moving abroad. Now, my folks, and please don't come on here denying it. I've seen it. I witnessed it. A lot of us carry this superiority complex because we from America. Like I've seen it. Please don't come on here denying it. We go over to these places. We go over to these countries, and we go projecting and trying to tell them how to live and how this ain't right and all this other stuff. And then we come back over here talking about, oh, they don't like us. That's probably why. It's probably a reason for that. Okay, so moving somewhere with this like imperialist attitude, or this colonizer attitude. Okay, it moving into a country and expecting it to cater to your language, to your culture, to your way of life, instead of you learning how to integrate, instead of you learning how to observe and be a part of that society, is a colonizer tendencies. Do you have to like everything about that country and what they do? No, but you take what you can gather and you leave what it is that you might not necessarily mesh with. That's not for you, especially at first. That's not for you to go like telling people that they ain't doing it right, because it's not how they do it over there in America. Or going everywhere calling everybody poor. Oh, they poor over there. That one really makes me mad. Who told you they was poor? Did they say they were poor? Or are you comparing it to America? If you have a population of people who know how to live off the land and God forbid stuff hit the fan, who's gonna be poured in? Who's gonna know how to survive and adapt more easily than to people who have, been living a particular way, right? All this stuff is relative. That really annoys me. Please stop going and calling people poor. Because they chilling. They chilling. They fine. You don't know that. Okay, you don't know how they identify. And again, if they are calling themselves poor, it's again they have been influenced by these ideologies of America coming and telling them that they poor and they need to come give up everything, their good land, their good uh lush vegetation and all this other stuff to come slave away their life in America. Okay. Assuming that your Western ideas of governance, business, and development are needed to help the local people. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand, especially out here, like some things could be better facilitated, but that's they'll do that when it's time for them to do that. Those people in that country have their systems and things set up in a way that is functioning for them when they have the need and the resources to make that a more efficient process. They'll do that. You coming in here because you know how to, I don't know, you think you have more knowledge and understanding of how they do things than they do is again a colonizer tendencies. Oh, I'm gonna come over here and show them how to do this. You don't even know how to show yourself stuff. Like, just stop. You ain't even got yourself together. And for some reason, you think because, again, you coming from America, I've seen this stuff, I witnessed it, right? Just this assumption that you gonna tell the people how to do their stuff. Okay, treating local customs as quirky or like some type of fetish something or exotic rather than it being something valid and something important to their cultural traditions. That's a colonizer tendency, right? um and I made videos about this, about how people come, we hear about it, passport bros, passport sis, and come to these places they think is exotic or like it's there for their entertainment and pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really weird. It's a really weird and colonial like vibration you sending off. Like really white entitled something. You want to come out here and do to other folks in other countries what they be doing over to us in America, thinking that like it's something. It's not okay. I don't like it. I don't care for it. And I feel like, especially black countries and black and brown people have, again, suffered the most from that. And I just really hate when we go out here doing that type of stuff because it's like, how, how do you as a black person not understand like how messed up that is, right? That's, something that like, you don't get it. You don't understand how that's an issue. Like we should understand this, right? Yeah. So don't go doing these things and come back. They don't like us over there. Africans don't like us. Jamaicans don't like us. People don't like us, right? Is that the case? Sometimes, probably a minute percent, right? And again, if they do have the mentality, it's likely because they have been influenced from the same people you've been influenced from, or they've been adopted understanding from the same understanding you got yours from. But a lot of us do go to places and carry a colonial mentality, right? Colonial behavior. And, we have those interactions and don't understand like what we are basically doing the white man over again. So please don't do that. Okay? Please don't act like you coming to bless them with your American presence. Like, oh, I'm from America. Oh, like that. Okay? Not telling you to be ashamed of yourself, but it's like, again, it's just it can start to become elitist and problematic. Okay? Um, So, like, a lot of people will complain. Now, I don't believe some of this stuff is relevant to black people, especially when they're talking about driving up prices. Because I'm like, black, we ain't got no money to be doing that, really, on occasion. It's a small percentage. Do some again, yes, some of us do carry colonial mentalities, but it's more of like a the mind frame as opposed to we can go up and just start buying up, countries and stuff like that, right? And driving up the prices. So, I mean, if you do have like that, be considerate of that and going driving the prices and, complaining about things and how it's not like, oh, it's not like how it is in America. Like, that don't make sense. Like, just stay where you at, right? Wouldn't it just make sense to stay where you at? If you're going to complain about it the whole time or find somewhere else that better suits you, okay? Um, and going to places and again, buying up land and stuff, you don't even understand the land situation in that particular country and displacing locals, and a lot of that is a lot of people's initial thought, and it's like you don't even know if you like this place. Go visit, just go visit and see, again, learn, observe, see if you like it first before you go over there trying to like buy out stuff. And like, expats in Puerto Rico, that Bad Bunny film really broke my heart. Like, I was like, oh, that sucks. You know, out there benefiting from tax incentives and gentrifying the folks that live there, and economic disfranchisement, disenfranchisement. That movie, it really broke my heart. It's a short film. I'm gonna put it in the description, right? And he even made videos now. I recall it being an issue with Bad Bunny sometime in the past. I gotta go see what that is because I ain't, just in case he done did something. But it does speak to the larger issue with colonialism and exploitation of different countries, right? Um, and it's becoming a growing frustration, like with people moving abroad and not understanding the culture, not respecting the culture, especially from like wealthy investors and things like that. People starting to get annoyed with us, right? With Americans. And then, I mean, some people are familiar with like Black Americans' plight, but not all of them, and so they just see American, right? And I'm like, dang, like I'm not like them. They not like us. I didn't ask to be over there, okay? Um, so it's like, what can we learn from things like that? Go watch that. Go watch that movie if you haven't. Anyways, so how to decolonize before you move abroad? Educate yourself. Like, a lot of us, again, especially with the short form media that we have access to now, we just hear stuff and we just regurgitate it. We just hear stuff and we regurgitate. Um, and don't have the slightest clue about what we're talking about, right? Go, get some understanding from uh, go get some understanding from people from the regions you're interested in, like who've been there and can, give you a more in-depth understanding than just being like, oh, they don't like us over there. Like, okay, go learn and educate yourself. Okay. Um, that's in whatever region you're interested in, do your research and go find people who've been there for a while or who are at least well traveled and don't have like such like a limited mind frame of the world. Okay, learn about the history of colonization in the country you're moving to. Okay, understand what it's like being there locally, what some of the economic situations are. Okay, that's up to you to start doing that research, especially if you're interested. Don't dismiss moving abroad because you heard something in flyby or they didn't like us or we coming over there gentrifying and things like that. Get an understanding first, make the decisions, and determine how you can go there and not be a detriment. Try and learn the language and the culture. All right, that's the next thing. Okay, learning basic phrases and things like that can at least show you tried and you're not anticipating everybody to cater to you and they should know English. Like, okay, don't do that. Learn some of the customs, learn some of the traditions, learn to avoid like microaggressions. Like a lot, especially like with my folks, we understand microaggressions, but when we go into another country, we may not understand like, again, some of the nuances. And then now this negative tension has been created when it's probably just like a misunderstanding or something. But again, if you learn, and just observe and get familiar with the culture, those things are less likely to happen. Okay, be aware of the social hierarchies and how they were shaped by colonialism. Right? Just learn, immerse yourself, learn. Stop just regurgitating stuff that people didn't say it on the internet. Don't go over there. Like, it's dangerous. Like, don't listen to people who probably ain't never been nowhere, right? Because they are, again, they have been sold on that American exceptionalism ideology. Okay, and I have to take some of my folks over here and if you are going to a country where they think America is paved with gold and milk and honey, I will also take what they're saying with a grain of salt. Because, people, oh, let me go see what the locals have to say. If the locals think that their country is the pit of hell, because they have been sold the idea of the U.S. being the land of milk and honey, I will also take that with a grain of salt. Okay? My best advice is to just go and experience these places for yourself. But in the meantime, learn and find people who've been there already and can really give you like more insight. Okay, don't be an extractive, like just coming to extract and take. Okay, um, again, that's more like with the just coming to buy and just coming to put cameras in people's faces and be like, oh, like, look at me, look at what I did. Like, don't just think it's somewhere you can come and take and bless them with your presence. Try and support like the local things if you can and understand your privilege and, you know, if you have that privilege and use it responsibly, right? Move with humility. Okay, you are a guest. Y'all, it's like you're going. Imagine somebody coming into your house, right, and telling you what to do. Imagine that, right? You are a guest. You're not a savior. Okay, move with some gratitude and some willingness to learn. Listen, okay, more than you speak. And again, a lot of us don't do this. We just go, okay, learn from people rather than assuming that they are supposed to be learning from you. Okay, build relationships built on respect, not power dynamics. Okay, so these are my thoughts. So what I think is, can reduce some of that colonial mentality when we're going to these places, especially now with all the stuff that's going on with that man over there in that presidency. Okay, people are interested more probably now than ever on seeking, home bases elsewhere. So, moving abroad, it can be life changing. But if we aren't careful, okay, we can risk becoming the very thing we claim we trying to get away from and escape. And again, that's something I'm like, why are you, if you are trying to get away from America, why are you bringing the same stuff over here? Okay, don't do that. It's time to unlearn. It's time to decolonize. It's time to move with intention. So before you book that one-way flight, ask yourself, are you moving to a new country or are you bringing the U.S. empire with you or wherever you're coming from? Okay, so subscribe, please. All right, for more videos on moving abroad and decolonizing and just get more insight. And I probably will start doing some series on more specific countries again, so people can get in more of an overview on what their options are with moving abroad. So, yeah. Comment below. Let me know something that you have unlearned about the world since growing up or since being in school or, whatever your educational system looks like. Hearsay. What's something that you've had to unlearn? Okay. So see y'all later. Again, happy Black History Month. I will see some of y'all in the comment section, especially if you're being rude. Even if you're not being rude, I'll see you in the comment section. Bye.